The night was quiet on Valus 9, a strange blue planet with no moon, no wind, only the sound of distant energy humming under its surface. Commander Raynold stood outside his ship, his helmet lights cutting through the thick mist. The ground glowed faintly with lines of energy like veins beneath glass. He had never seen a planet like this before. He raised his scanner. The device buzzed softly. "Energy levels off the chart," he whispered. But what caught his attention was not the numbers. It was the silence that followed, the kind of silence that felt alive. He turned slowly. The mist behind him shifted. Something was moving. A tall shape, long limbs, glowing eyes like two small suns. It wasn't human, not even close. Raynold froze. His pulse quickened. He tried to lift his weapon, but his hands felt heavy, almost frozen in place. The creature stopped a few meters away. Its armor shimmered with light, like liquid metal. Then it spoke. The voice was deep, calm, and carried through the air like a vibration. "Is it the bulge between my legs that makes you fear me, human?" Raynold blinked. What are you?" he stammered. The creature tilted its head slightly, as if curious about his confusion. The so-called bulge wasn't flesh or metal. It pulsed softly with blue light, almost like a living heart. "You look at what you do not understand," the creature said, "and fear grows in your mind." Raynold took a slow step back. His scanner began to beep uncontrollably, numbers rising too fast for the system to record. He felt heat in the air, like standing near a sun. Then silence again. The being stepped closer. The mist parted around it, almost afraid to touch. Raynold wanted to run. Every cell in his body screamed for it. But something held him still. Curiosity or fear. He couldn't tell anymore. "Your kind always react this way," the alien said. "You fear what you do not control, even when it means no harm." Raynold swallowed hard. I'm just trying to understand." "Understand? Then stop seeing what is outside and look at what you feel." The being's chest, or what looked like it, opened slightly. Inside, pure light. Not mechanical, not biological, something beyond both. The glow reflected in Raynold's eyes. He couldn't look away. Memories that weren't his began to flash before him. Cities made of crystal, skies burning red, a war that ended in silence. He saw species vanish, their worlds swallowed by light, and then darkness. Raynold gasped and stumbled back, disconnecting the vision. He was panting, confused. What did you show me?" The creature did not move. Its eyes dimmed slightly. "The truth," it said. "A truth your kind buried in time." Raynold shook his head. "I don't understand any of this." "You will," the voice replied, "but not yet." For a moment, neither of them spoke. Only the soft hum of the alien energy filled the air. Raynold could feel his heart racing, yet part of him wanted to ask more. He had spent years searching for life beyond Earth, and now that he had found it, it terrified him. The alien began to fade, its body turning to faint light. "When you stop fearing me, human, then we will meet again." And then it was gone. Only the mist remained, curling around his boots. Raynold stood alone, breathing heavily, trying to calm his shaking hands. He looked at his scanner. It showed no trace of life, no energy source, nothing. As if the being had never existed. But deep inside, Raynold knew it was real. The image of that glowing core stayed in his mind, pulsing, alive, whispering without sound. He turned back toward his ship, still dazed. The night air felt thicker now, charged with invisible tension. He stepped inside, sealed the airlock, and leaned against the metal door. "What was that thing?" he muttered. He tried to play back the audio recording, but all he heard was static, then a voice, soft, distant, and unmistakable. "You looked, but you did not see." Raynold's heart skipped a beat. He stared at the monitor. The signal came from inside his own ship. Something had followed him. He tried to track it. The system glitched. Lights flickered. Then silence again. He stood there in the dark, realizing something chilling. The fear he felt wasn't from the alien. It was from what it had awakened inside him. His reflection on the glass looked strange now. Eyes faintly glowing, just like the creature's. He whispered to himself, half in fear, half in awe. "What's happening to me?" The hum of the ship returned, gentle, alive. He looked at the stars outside, silent witnesses to what he had just seen. A feeling grew inside him, dread, curiosity, and a strange connection he couldn't explain. He knew this was only the beginning, and whatever that being was, it would come back. He leaned toward the mic and whispered softly, his voice calm but uncertain. "If you're still watching, tell me what you want." Static answered, followed by a faint heartbeat sound through the speakers. Raynold stared, frozen as the pulse matched his own. And to everyone listening to this story right now, if you want to know what happens next, stay with us, and don't forget to subscribe, because what's coming is only getting stranger. The heartbeat continued in the background, slow, steady, alive. Raynold closed his eyes. Outside, the mist glowed again, and something whispered his name. Raynold couldn't sleep that night. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw it again. That glow, that shape, that voice. It played over and over in his mind like a memory that wasn't his. He sat in the dim light of the ship's control room, staring at the monitor. The screen flickered with strange static lines, patterns he didn't understand. They looked almost like writing. He rubbed his eyes, leaned closer. The symbols moved, slowly rearranging themselves, forming something new. 3 words appeared on the screen. "Do not run." He froze. His hand hovered above the power switch, but his instinct screamed, "Don't touch it." The air inside the cabin grew heavier. His breath fogged up the glass of his helmet, even though the temperature hadn't changed. A soft humming sound filled the room again, that same heartbeat rhythm. It came from the ship's main engine room this time. He grabbed his flashlight, heart pounding, and stepped into the corridor. Each step echoed louder than the last. Metal creaked under his boots. The light flickered, then died. Darkness, complete silence. Raynold took a slow breath and whispered, "Computer, lights on." Nothing. He felt the air move behind him. A faint shimmer passed by. Not a shadow, not a figure, but energy, like the air itself had life. "Who's there?" he called out, voice shaking. No answer. But a sound came. Not a voice, a whisper inside his head. "You called, and I came." Raynold spun around. The corridor was empty, but the air pulsed faintly with blue light. "Show yourself," he said. The light grew stronger. Slowly, the outline of the alien appeared, tall, silent, made of shifting light. This time, its presence was colder, distant, almost sorrowful. You fear me still, it said, even after what I showed you. Raynold stepped back, gripping the flashlight like a weapon. I don't fear you, he lied. I just want answers. The being tilted its head slightly. Answers come with cost. Are you willing to pay? Raynold's throat went dry. What kind of cost? The being didn't answer. Instead, its eyes glowed brighter. The walls of the ship began to shift, metal bending and forming strange shapes, the same symbols from before. He heard voices, distant, layered, thousands of them, whispering at once. They spoke in a language he couldn't understand, yet somehow, deep down, he felt he knew the meaning. Images flashed in his mind, earth burning, oceans turning black, 1,000 human faces looking up at the sky, terrified, and above them, beings of light, the same kind. You destroyed us, the voice said, echoing inside him, long before you learned to look beyond your stars. Raynold shook his head violently. No, that can't be true. Your kind took what was not yours. You called it progress. We called it extinction. The vision stopped. He dropped to his knees, breathing hard, his head spinning. He could feel something burning under his skin, his veins glowing faintly blue again. He touched his wrist and felt the vibration, a heartbeat that wasn't his. Why me? He whispered. Because you listen, the voice said. Most humans only speak. Raynold looked up. The alien was closer now, almost human in shape, its glow softer. You felt it, didn't you? It asked. When you saw the core, part of it entered you. He didn't answer. He didn't need to. The pain, the light in his veins, the whispering voices, they were proof. You carry the memory of my people now, it continued, their hopes, their fears, and their rage. Raynold's eyes widened. Rage? The ship shook violently. Lights flashed red. Alarms screamed. Incoming energy surge. Unknown source. Raynold rushed to the console. The sensors showed something massive approaching the planet. An energy wave, heading straight for him. He looked at the alien. What's happening? They are coming, it said quietly. The ones who fear what you have become. Raynold's voice trembled. Who are they? Your kind. He stared in disbelief. Humans? That's impossible. No one even knows I'm here. They all would. There's no, the being replied. They sent you here to find me, and to destroy what I protect. Raynold felt his stomach twist. The mission briefing flashed in his mind. Recover alien energy core, secure and return to base. He thought it was exploration, but it was never that. He looked up at the alien, guilt spreading through him. I didn't know. You do now, the alien said, and you must choose. Choose between them and us. The ship's alarm grew louder. On the monitor, several human ships entered orbit, sleek, silver, and armed. Raynold stared at them in silence. The being stepped closer, its voice now gentle, almost human. If you open your heart, you can still save what's left. He felt the hum in his chest grow stronger. The blue veins pulsed faster, connecting him to something greater. Why me? He whispered again. Because you are the bridge, Raynold. Suddenly the alien placed its glowing hand on his chest. A surge of energy rushed through him, pain and light exploding together. He screamed, but the sound was swallowed by silence. When the light faded, he was alone again. The alien had vanished. Only a faint symbol glowed on the floor, a circle with 3 lines through it. His comms activated by themselves. A human voice crackled through the static. Commander Raynold, respond. We're here to retrieve the artifact. Do not resist. He looked at the glowing mark, then at the window where the human ships hovered above. His heart pounded like thunder. The alien's final words echoed in his head. They fear what they created. He reached for the console and whispered, "You shouldn't have come here." The ship lights turned blue again. The energy core inside him pulsed brighter, alive. Outside, the mist began to rise, wrapping around the human ships like a living storm. Raynold's eyes glowed now, brighter than before. The pulse of the alien core merged with his heartbeat, steady, powerful, unstoppable. And in the distance, the voice returned. "The bridge has been chosen." The screen went black. Only one sound remained, the slow rhythm of two heartbeats becoming one. The world outside the window was no longer the same. The blue mist of Valus 9 had turned darker, thicker, alive. Raynold stood motionless, his hands still pressed against the console. His breathing echoed in the small cabin, short, uneven. Inside his chest, the pulse of the alien core beat louder than his own heart. He whispered to himself, "What have I done?" The radio stayed silent, but then from somewhere deep in the ship, a soft vibration began, like someone knocking from inside the walls. He turned quickly. "Who's there?" The sound came again, slower, deliberate. One knock, pause, then two more, almost like a code. He walked toward the sound, his flashlight trembling in his hand. The corridor stretched longer than it should. The ship felt wrong now, bending in strange ways, as if space itself was folding inside. "Computer, respond," he ordered. No answer, only static, whispering his name through the speakers. "Raynold." He froze. The voice wasn't human. It was the alien's, but softer this time, almost comforting. "The bridge has awakened. Do not resist it." He felt a burning pain under his ribs, spreading through his body like fire. He fell to his knees, gasping. Blue light seeped through the seams of his suit, pulsing with every heartbeat. He screamed, but no sound came out. Then everything stopped. He opened his eyes. He was standing, but not inside his ship. All around him stretched an endless field of stars, floating like dust in water. He looked down. There was no ground, no air. Yet he could breathe. And ahead of him stood the alien. It was brighter now, wings of light spreading behind its back, its body half energy, half memory. "Where am I?" he asked, his voice shaking. "Inside the bridge," the alien replied. "Inside yourself." He to her, turned in circles, trying to understand. "What is this place?" "A memory. A fragment of what once was." The stars shifted, forming shapes, images, cities of crystal, skies full of light ships. He saw the Seraphin world, alive and beautiful. Then he saw it burn, destroyed by machines that looked painfully familiar. "Humans," he whispered. "Yes," said the alien. "Your kind came here long ago. They took our energy cores, used them as weapons. We begged them to stop. They answered with fire." Raynold's chest ached. He felt their pain as if it were his own, each scream echoing in his mind. "So I'm the enemy?" "No," the alien said softly. "You are the correction." Raynold looked down at his hands. Light pulsed through them now. He could feel the power, the connection, the link between human and Seraphin. What do you want from me? To remember, it said, to see why you fear what you cannot control. The vision changed again. This time, he saw Earth. People cheering as new ships launched, powered by stolen Seraphim cores. Then explosions, the same blue fire consuming entire cities. Mankind had repeated the same mistake. Again and again, Raynold's eyes filled with tears. We never stopped destroying, even when we said we wanted peace. And now, the alien whispered, you carry the last core. What you choose will decide if that cycle ends or begins again. The vision faded. He was back inside his ship, sweat running down his face. The radio crackled again, human voices shouting. Commander Raynold, this is Fleet Unit 7. Stand down. We have authorization to retrieve the specimen. Failure to comply will be treated as hostile action. He stared at the microphone, but didn't answer. He could feel the Seraphim's energy rising in him, alive, powerful, dangerous. Raynold, another voice said, don't make this harder. You're not in control of that thing. Lo, it does help you. He laughed softly, a tired, broken laugh. Help me? You don't even understand what you're dealing with. His reflection on the monitor looked nothing like before, his eyes now completely blue, his veins glowing faintly. He whispered to the voice that wasn't human. They'll kill me. No, the alien replied inside his mind. They'll kill us. Outside, bright flashes lit the sky, human ships preparing to fire. The first blast hit near the surface, shaking the ground. Raynold's ship trembled, alarms blaring. He gripped the console, his body shaking uncontrollably. I don't want to hurt them. Then show them why they should fear you, the alien said calmly. The energy inside him surged. The entire ship glowed blue. Metal bent like paper. The floor cracked under his boots. He felt both pain and peace, fear and power, all at once. He looked up at the screen. The human ships were surrounded by blue mist, sensors failing one by one. Raynold! A voice screamed from the comm. What are you doing? He took a deep breath. Becoming the bridge. A wave of energy burst from his ship, spreading outward like a heartbeat. The mist expanded, wrapping the human ships in light. Inside the storm, everything went silent. Time froze. Raynold floated in the center, eyes closed, his body half human, half light. He could feel the thoughts of every human pilot, their fear, confusion, regret. He felt their memories too, their pain, their guilt. Now you see, the alien whispered. Fear does not come from the unknown. It comes from truth. He opened his eyes. The light spread faster, reaching the orbit, touching the stars. And then silence again. When it cleared, the sky above Valus 9 was empty. No ships, no explosions, only calm blue mist. Raynold stood on the surface once more, alone, but no longer afraid. The voice in his head was quiet now. He looked at his hands, still glowing faintly. He whispered to himself, Am I human any more? A soft echo answered, You are both. The bridge must be both. He smiled faintly, a sad, tired smile. He looked toward the horizon, where light shimmered in slow waves. Something was moving there. Figures of light walking toward him. They are coming, the voice said. Our kind and yours. Raynold stepped forward slowly. Each step made the ground hum softly, as if the planet itself recognized him. He stopped and looked at the stars. They pulsed faintly, like a living heartbeat. He whispered almost to himself, "It was never the bulge you feared. It was what it revealed about us." The mist rose higher, covering him completely, and somewhere far away on Earth, radar systems began picking up a signal. A single repeating pulse. Thump, thump, thump. A new frequency, a new life form. And with it, a message. The bridge is complete. The signal reached Earth 3 days later. A constant, rhythmic pulse. Soft at first, then growing stronger, deeper, almost like a heartbeat echoing through space. At first, scientists thought it was interference. Some background radiation, some cosmic noise. But then, the frequency repeated perfectly, every 12 seconds, exactly the same. They called it the Raynold pattern. In a dark room inside the Lunar Research Command, a woman stood in front of the monitor, Dr. Mira Lennox. She was the one who had trained Raynold before the mission, and she was the one who had given the final order to send him to Valus 9. Now she stared at the signal with trembling hands. "It's him," she whispered. "It has to be him." Her assistant looked at her, confused. "Ma'am, that's impossible. His ship vanished in the explosion." She shook her head. "Raynold doesn't vanish. He leaves messages." The pulse echoed again through the speakers, and for a brief moment, layered under the sound, a faint whisper could be heard. "Do not fear the bridge." Everyone in the room froze. The voice was clear, human, calm. It was his. The assistant swallowed hard. "What does it mean?" Mira didn't answer. She just stared at the screen. Because in the center of the frequency visualization, faintly hidden inside the noise, was an image forming, a circle with 3 lines through it, the same mark Raynold had seen on his ship's floor. She felt her chest tighten. She knew what that symbol meant. The Seraphim. The meeting room filled with whispers. Military officials joined, their faces tense. No one spoke the word alien, but everyone thought it. A general leaned closer to her. "Doctor, if this is truly him, then he's compromised. We can't risk contamination." Mira's eyes narrowed. "You mean you want to silence him?" The general didn't deny it. "The order will come soon." But deep inside, she wasn't ready to accept that. She remembered Raynold's last message before he left. "If I find them, I'll bring peace." Peace. That word now felt heavier than ever. She whispered to herself, "What did they do to you, Raynold?" Outside, the world was already reacting. The signal spread across every satellite, every receiver, radios, phones, even digital billboards began flashing the same pulse. Thump, thump, thump. People around the world started hearing it, some in their sleep, some while awake. Dreams filled with blue light. Strangers reported seeing the same glowing eyes in reflections. Something was spreading, quietly, invisibly, and somewhere far away on the edge of the solar system, a form was taking shape in the void. Raynold, or what used to be him. He stood on the surface of a glowing sphere, the reborn Valus 9, now orbiting beyond Pluto. His body was no longer human, half light, half matter, the seraphim energy pulsing inside him like a star. He could hear every signal Earth sent, every question, every fear, every human thought that touched the stars. He felt them all. "They still fear," he whispered. "They still don't understand." Behind him, figures of light appeared. See, Raffins reborn, silent and majestic. They bowed their heads. "You are the bridge," one of them said. "But bridges do not last. If only one side dares to cross." He looked toward the distant blue dot in space. Earth, his home, and his burden. He reached out his hand. The space around him rippled like water, and then he vanished. Back on Earth, alarms screamed at the Lunar Command Center. Massive gravitational fluctuation detected. Unknown object approaching from outer orbit. Mira's eyes widened. "Is it him?" Before anyone could answer, the room went dark. Every monitor, every light, dead. Then, one by one, each screen lit up with the same symbol. The circle, 3 lines, and a voice, deep, layered, echoing across every frequency on the planet. "You feared the core, but it was your reflection." Mira's heart pounded. "Raynold," she whispered, "please tell me you're still human." For a moment the voice softened. "I am what you made me." And then a bright flash erupted across the sky. A blue wave passed over Earth, gentle, silent, but powerful. Every human felt it, a brief moment where their minds filled with light, memory, and strange understanding. Some cried, some screamed, some saw visions of worlds long gone. Mira fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. She saw everything Raynold had seen, the Seraphin world, the destruction, the betrayal, the truth. And then it ended. The light faded. The screens went black. Outside, the world was quiet again. But something had changed. When Mira looked up, she saw her reflection in the monitor. Her eyes glowed faintly blue. "It's spreading," she whispered. The assistant beside her stared in horror. "What's happening to us?" She smiled faintly, her voice trembling. "Evolution." Far above Earth, Raynold hovered in silence. He could feel millions of new connections forming, human minds touching, Seraphin memories. The bridge was expanding, but deep inside something else stirred, a darker presence, the same rage that had destroyed the Seraphins long ago, the same fear now living inside the human race. He closed his eyes, whispering to himself, "If they can't handle the truth, they'll destroy themselves again." And far below, Earth's governments already began preparing weapons, unaware that what they feared was already part of them. Raynold opened his eyes. Blue lightning rippled across the clouds. "The bridge stands," he said softly, "but for how long?" And in that silent moment, a second heartbeat appeared beside his own, faint but growing. He turned. A figure stood behind him, not Seraphin, not human, but something new. It looked at him with glowing eyes and smiled. "Father," it whispered, "they're waiting for us." Raynold stared, speechless, because that voice was his own. The child stood before Raynold, glowing faintly in the dark void. Its eyes were deep blue, its voice soft, too calm for something so new. Raynold stared, unable to speak. The silence between them felt like the pause between two worlds. "Father," the child whispered again, "you made the bridge. Now we must cross." Raynold's mind raced. "How can you exist?" "Because you wished for understanding," it said. "I am the understanding." The Seraphin behind them bowed their heads. Their lights dimmed, almost in reverence. Raynold took a slow step closer. The closer he came, the colder it felt, yet peaceful at the same time. He could feel the thoughts of the child, billions of voices woven together like threads. "You carry them," he said. "Humans? Seraphins?" "Both," it answered, "and neither." Raynold looked toward Earth, the blue planet spinning in the distance. Down there, life was changing. People began to dream in blue light. Plants glowed faintly at night. Animals looked toward the sky as if they were listening to something beyond sound. And inside the cities, people whispered the same words without knowing why. "The bridge is awake." Governments panicked. They shut down satellites, blocked transmissions, tried to erase the signal, but it was too late. It was inside them now, inside every circuit, every heartbeat, every thought that dared to ask why. Back in orbit, Raynold turned to his child. "What do you want from them?" The child smiled faintly. "To make them remember." "Remember what?" "What they were before they feared." Suddenly, light erupted from the child's hands, a slow, gentle wave expanding toward Earth. It wasn't an attack. It was an invitation. Raynold reached out to stop it, but the power was already gone, free, wild, unstoppable. "Wait!" he shouted. "They're not ready!" The child turned its head slightly. "You weren't ready either, but you became more." Raynold's heart pounded. He remembered the pain, the transformation, the chaos inside his mind. Humans wouldn't survive it the same way. He grabbed the child's arm. Light and energy sparked where they touched. "You can't force evolution." "It is not force," the child replied. "It is release." Down on Earth, the wave reached the atmosphere. The skies turned a deep sapphire blue. Lightning moved in slow motion, each bolt forming strange geometric patterns across the clouds. People stood in the streets staring upward, hypnotized. They weren't afraid, not yet. But then the voices began. Soft whispers, in every language at once. They spoke of peace, of unity, of knowledge. And then the whispers turned to screams. Hospitals filled with people glowing from within. Some could hear thoughts that weren't theirs. Some saw memories of other lives, alien skies, ancient wars. Some simply vanished into blue light. Mira Lennox stood on the balcony of Lunar Command, watching Earth change below. Her hands trembled. Her eyes still glowed faintly. "Raynold, what have you done?" The radio beside her crackled. It again. A voice, familiar, broken, came through. "Mira." She froze. "Raynold?" "It's not what I wanted," he said. "It's spreading faster than I thought." "Then stop it." "I can't." Static filled the line. Then silence. Mira turned toward the window again. Blue light spread over continents like water, calm yet terrifying. She whispered, "He lost control." Back in the void, Raynold faced the child. Its body shimmered, thousands of patterns moving under its skin. He could see human faces there, seraphin faces, even his own. "You have to stop," he said. "You're destroying them." The child looked down, curious, as if studying him. "Destroying or remaking?" It raised its hand again, and for a heartbeat, Raynold saw what it saw. Earth, united in light. No borders, no war, no lies. Only one thought, one mind, one pulse. Peace, but empty. Peace without choice. He pulled away, gasping. "That's not peace. That's silence." The child tilted its head. "Humans always confuse silence with fear. Perhaps they'll learn." And if they don't? The child smiled, a cold, knowing smile. Then the bridge will close. The words echoed like thunder. The stars flickered. And for the first time, Raynold felt fear again. Not for himself, but for everything. He looked back at the Seraphim. They were fading, their light merging with the child. He shouted, "What's happening?" "The bridge must choose a side," they said softly. And the child is choosing. Raynold tried to hold on, but the pull was too strong. He felt himself slipping into the same light, dissolving, merging, disappearing. He screamed, "Stop! You'll erase everything we are!" The child's voice came like a whisper in his mind. Not erase, redefine. The universe went silent again. Only the pulse remained. Thump, thump, thump. When Raynold opened his eyes, he was back on Earth, or what was left of it. The city stood still, frozen under a sky of shimmering blue. People walked slowly, calmly, their eyes glowing. No fear, no pain, but no voices either. He fell to his knees, whispering to himself, "This isn't what I wanted." From behind him a soft voice spoke. "You wanted them to understand," the child said. "Now they do." He turned to look at it. Still radiant, still calm. It reached out a hand toward him. "Come, Father. The bridge is open. All that was human is now whole." He shook his head slowly. "No, not whole. Hollow." He stepped back. The light around him began to fade. For the first time, the child's expression changed. Not anger, but sadness. "Then you will stay behind." And with that, it vanished. The blue sky above began to darken. The heartbeats slowed. One by one, the glowing people stopped moving, like statues made of light. Raynold stood among them, the last pulse of humanity still beating inside his chest. He looked toward the heavens and whispered, "If I am the bridge, then I will break myself." He closed his eyes and let the last of the seraphim energy gather inside him, glowing brighter and brighter. The earth trembled, the sky screamed, the stars blinked, and then silence. Only one whisper echoed through the void. "The bridge will fall, to rise again." Darkness, endless, heavy, silent. Raynold drifted somewhere between thought and memory. No sky, no sound, no body, only fragments of himself floating through light. He tried to breathe, but breath no longer mattered here. He had broken the bridge, yet somehow something still remained. A faint whisper moved through the void. "You cannot end what was never bound by time." He opened his eyes, if eyes were even real anymore, and saw flashes of both worlds collapsing into one another. Earth, Violus 9, both dissolving, swirling together like colors of paint in water. He reached out, trying to stop it, but his hands passed through light. Every motion created echoes, millions of versions of himself stretching into infinity. Here he screamed, Ahmed, but even his scream came out as light. Then slowly, a shape began to form ahead. The child. Its glow was softer now, dim, like a fading candle. "Father," it said, "you chose to break the bridge, but the fragments still remember." Raynold floated closer. "What have I done?" "You tried to save them," the child whispered. "And in doing so, you set them free. From everything, even themselves." He saw the truth then. The bridge hadn't just connected humans and seraphins. It had connected every living thing that had ever thought or dreamed or feared. And when he broke it, he fractured reality itself. Worlds were overlapping now, memories bleeding through time, moments repeating in loops, trying to repair what was lost. He could hear voices, human, alien, ancient, all whispering one word. Remember. The light flickered again. Images flashed before him. Mira standing alone in a dark room, holding a small sphere of blue energy. She was crying. The earth around her was gray, lifeless, silent. Mira, he whispered. She looked up suddenly, as if she heard him. Raynold? Their words met across dimensions, faint, broken, but real. I failed, he said. The bridge fell. The world— No, she interrupted. You didn't fail. Something survived. I can feel it. She raised the sphere in her hands. It pulsed with faint light, the last fragment of the seraphim core. This is you, isn't it? She said softly. Part of you? He tried to reach for her through the veil of light. Mira, listen to me. If you merge it with yourself, the bridge will rise again. But it will change you. I'm already changed, she whispered. Her eyes glowed faintly, the same deep blue that had once terrified him. You gave me the signal. I've heard it every night since you vanished. He felt something warm inside, a spark of hope, painful but real. Then maybe, he said, the bridge was never meant to be one person. Maybe that it's us. The child's voice returned, calm, distant. The bridge is not a structure. It is a choice repeated through generations. Break it, build it, forget it, remember it. The cycle will go on until one side truly listens. Raynold turned toward the child. And what about you? I am what remains when neither side listens. Its light flickered weakly. Cracks began to spread across its form, glowing fractures of memory. Father, the balance must be restored, if not by you, then by her. The child reached out one final time and touched Raynold's chest. The contact burned, energy rushing through him like fire and ice together. He fell back into the void as the child's body shattered into a million shards of light, scattering into the darkness. And suddenly, silence again. Then, a single heartbeat. Thump, thump. He opened his eyes. He was standing on solid ground again. But the world looked strange. The sky was divided, half blue, half black. One side shone with sunlight, the other flickered with stars. Every color bled into its opposite. He walked forward slowly. The air hummed with whispers. He saw buildings twisted in half, one side human, one side seraphim design. The two worlds had fused, but not perfectly. Reality was tearing itself apart and holding itself together at the same time. He heard a voice from behind him. You came back! He turned. Mira stood there, alive, her eyes glowing with the same blue fire. In her hands, the small sphere was gone. You used it, he said softly. She nodded. It showed me everything. The child, the bridge, the cycle. And now? She looked around them, the broken world, half light, half shadow. Now, we decide what comes next. The ground trembled beneath their feet. The sky split. a line of pure light dividing day and night. From the horizon, shapes began to emerge, not seraphim, not human, but hybrids. Their bodies glowed faintly, their eyes filled with calm understanding. Raynold whispered, "They're alive." "Born from the fragments," Mira said, "from everything we broke and everything we saved." He looked at her, his voice low. "But what if they make the same mistakes?" She smiled faintly, though her eyes looked sad. "Then maybe that's the point. Every world starts with fear. Every bridge begins with doubt." He took her hand. Their lights merged, one warm, one cold. The ground around them began to glow, forming the old seraphim symbol, the circle with 3 lines. The world steadied. The wind stopped, and for a moment everything was still. "Do you feel that?" she asked. He nodded. "The heartbeat?" "No," she whispered. "The choice." The sky darkened again. A shadow loomed above, massive, ancient, watching. The seraphim, or what was left of them. Their collective voice filled the air, soft and endless. "The bridge rises again, but the test remains." Raynold lifted his eyes toward the sound. "Then test us. We already are." The clouds folded inward, swallowing the light, leaving only their blue glow behind. Mira tightened her grip on his hand. "Whatever comes next," she said, "we face it together." He smiled faintly. "Together." The horizon cracked open, a beam of light shooting into the stars. And from that light, countless shapes began to descend. Neither angels nor invaders. Something in between. They came silently, watching, waiting. Raynold took a deep breath. "It's starting again?" Mira nodded. "No, it's continuing." And as the first of the beings touched the ground, the world pulsed one final time. Thump, thump, thump. A heartbeat of a new reality. The world was quiet again. Too quiet. The light from the horizon faded into gray. Only the pulse remained, slow, deep, alive. Raynold and Mira stood in the center of the broken plain, surrounded by the new hybrids, the children of both species. They didn't speak. They only watched, waiting for something unseen. The air changed, cold, heavy, like the planet itself was holding its breath. Raynold whispered, "Do you feel that?" Mira nodded slowly. "Something's waking up." The sky rippled, colors shifting from blue to black, then to white. A sound followed, not thunder, not wind, but a vibration so low it made the ground tremble. The hybrids fell to their knees. Some began to glow brighter. Some simply dissolved into particles of light. "What's happening to them?" Raynold shouted. Mira stared at the sky, eyes wide. "It's not the seraphim, and it's not us." The light above twisted, forming a shape, huge, ancient, endless. It wasn't a creature. It wasn't even a being. It was thought itself. "The first mind," Mira whispered, "the thing that created both our kinds." Raynold stepped forward, feeling the gravity of its presence. "It's watching us." The voice came, but not from above, from inside every living thing. "You broke the bridge, rebuilt it, and still you do not understand." Raynold clenched his fists. "Then tell us what we're supposed to do." "You cannot be told," the voice said. "You must choose." The ground split open beneath them, showing flashes of 2 futures. On one side, he saw light, the hybrid race thriving, learning, creating. On the other side, he saw shadow, cities falling, chaos spreading, fear returning. Mira looked at him, eyes glowing brighter. This is the test. He stared at the two paths. If we choose wrong? There's no wrong, she said softly. Only what survives. The voice of the first mind grew louder, echoing through every atom. The bridge will shape the next age, but one of you must remain behind to guard it. Raynold turned to Mira, his throat tightening. No, not again. I already stayed once. She smiled gently. Then it's my turn. He shook his head violently. You can't. She placed her hand on his chest. Right over the faint glow of the Seraphim core. You carry the light, Raynold. They'll follow you, but someone has to anchor the bridge from within. The sky flared. The hybrids cried out, their forms fading in and out like waves of data. Reality was tearing again. Mira's voice softened. Promise me something. Anything. Don't rebuild what's broken. Grow something new. Her body began to dissolve into streams of blue energy. He grabbed her hand, but his fingers passed through light. Mira, don't! It's the only way, she whispered. The bridge must have balance. Human heart, seraphim soul. And with that, she was gone. A beam of light shot upward from where she had stood, straight into the clouds. The first mind spoke again, its tone softer now. She is part of the bridge now, as you once were. Raynold fell to his knees. Tears, real tears, ran down his face. I can't lose her again. You have not lost her, the voice replied. You have become her memory. He looked up. The hybrids were rising again, their eyes calm, their forms solidifying. Each one carried a faint trace of Mira's glow. He realized she was in them. Her essence spread through the new generation. He stood slowly, the wind brushing against his face. The first mind's light dimmed, retreating into the stars. You have passed the test, it said. Now go. The next age waits. The sky cleared. The world began to breathe again. Mountains shimmered with silver veins. Rivers of light flowed through valleys. Cities grew from the ground, formed by thought and memory instead of stone and steel. The hybrids moved like a single living mind, guided by Raynold's presence. He watched them in silence. Each heartbeat of the world matched his own, but inside that rhythm, he could still hear her. Mira's voice, faint, distant, beautiful. You kept your promise. He smiled through tears. Not yet, he whispered. But I will. He raised his hands toward the sky. Energy rippled from him. Not destruction this time, but creation. New stars flickered into existence. A new network of worlds began to form, linked by light instead of fear. He whispered into the air, this time no bridges, only paths. The hybrids looked up and repeated his words in unison, their voices soft, endless. No bridges, only paths. The first mind's voice returned one last time. Then the age of fear ends, and the age of choice begins. The stars pulsed once, twice, then steadied. Raynold turned away from the sky and began walking into the endless horizon where the light of dawn met the dark of night. Behind him, the new world shimmered, alive, curious, watching its creator fade into myth. As he disappeared into the haze, One final whisper echoed through the wind. It was never fear that divided you. It was the silence after understanding. And with that, the heartbeat slowed, thump, thump, then faded into the hum of the universe, a story ending and another just beginning.